Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Sending the Community with me, Hafiz Muhammad Omar. And in today's show, I have two amazing guests with me for each half of the show. For the first half of the show, I'm joined by Dr. Anje Bothin from Assertive Voices. Dr. Bothin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for taking the time to join us all the way from Lanarkshire near Glasgow in Scotland. So we are really grateful to you for taking the time to join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Brilliant. And before we start talking to Dr. Bothin about her amazing work that she's doing, not just in Scotland, but for the wider community around the UK and beyond, I would like to mention our second guest as well, Jacqueline Stephens, who's much more local to Luton. Jacqueline does inclusive cards, and she will be joining me in person for the second half of the show. This first half is a pre-recorded show, for which Dr. Bothin and I have met remotely. And before I go back to Dr. Bothin, I'd like to remind our listeners that November is the Mental Health Awareness Month. And some of you might recall that we did a massive campaign during the summer this year at Luton Town Indians Cricket Club through a charity called CALM, which stands for Campaigning Against Living Miserably. Essentially, it's a men's anti-suicide charity. And we raised over £34,000 for that charity cricket match, which we had on 3rd of August. We had some amazing celebrities coming down, people like David James, former England goalkeeper, and Monty Panasa, former England cricketer, and many others locally. Mick Harford, one of our great legends from Luton Cricket Club, football club, played a cricket match there as well. And so, mental health is incredibly important, and please do not underestimate the immense how you could help somebody suffering silently. If you are in need of support, Samaritans are out there. If you're in education support partnership offer free counselling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can contact them. And there are many, many other organizations, locally, community groups, faith groups, etc., that you can turn to. So please do not suffer in silence. Coming back now to our first guest tonight, Dr. Bothin. Tell us a bit about yourself, please.
I'm the founder of Assertive Voices. I'm an assertiveness coach, and I also run workshops around assertiveness training, and I also do creative writing with people because that helps them to express their thoughts and feelings. I am the author of several books. One is called Annika and the Treasure of Iceland, that features a character who struggles with speaking in certain situations, which is called selective mutism. So that's basically a communication anxiety related to social anxiety when a person doesn't speak. Sometimes, like for example in public or at school, but they do speak at home or with people they're familiar with, like parents. And the other book is Quiet, a poem about selective mutism, which is just a poem for more awareness that I once wrote a while ago and put that in a book.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, what inspired you to write about selective mutism and really take this approach for these amazing group of people who I know do a lot, and I will come back to share some of my experiences with our listeners very shortly. So what inspired you to go down this route in the first place?
My own lived experience with this. I think I had my struggles with this as a child, and I was called very shy, and so I started trying to find out what's going on and what I can do. And I learned about this, and then I found other people who are affected, and I found things that I can do to help myself. And once I felt like I'd overcome it, I wanted to help others. And so I specialized in working with adults who are still struggling. I run a peer support group online for people But I know it's usually something that is around children. So that is where most of the work is about. And most therapists I know specialize in this.
This is wonderful. Dr. Bothin, I think the work you do is so important, and thank you so much for sharing your own personal story there as well. Living with selective mutism alone is a challenge, and for any of our listeners out there who might be thinking, you know what, I can resonate with this. I know what it feels like. Please take some inspiration from Dr. Bothin here. The fact that this is not an endless barrier, it's a barrier that you can come across through the right level of support. And, you are not less important than other people within your friendship group, or if you're still at school, or if you're working, or what have you. You're equally important, you're equally valued, treasured. And here, we've invited Dr. Bothin to be able to share some of those amazing strategies that can support you, if you're listening, thinking, actually, I struggle with this. If you were to unpick this, Dr. Bothin, what, I guess, I mean, we've got you here as somebody with lived experience. What could be the triggers for somebody who is considered selective mute? So if they are talking at home, for example, and not in public or not in school or at their homes, etc., what could be triggering them to do that?
I would say other people are around. Like it's particularly hard in groups of people when it feels like it is never your turn and you fight for the attention, that you want to say something, but you can't start and nobody knows that. And so people think you don't want to say something. So that's usually a thing that people say happens a lot. They can't participate in groups and say something because that is really hard. So that's harder to initiate something than just answer a question, for example. And it's certainly easier with one person compared to many.
And then how did you overcome that particular hurdle then?
I did something called exposure. So like I gave myself tiny tasks, how I could do something, what I felt like this is possible right now and not too hard, working towards a bigger goal, and just went and did that and then repeated it. And when I was able to do it, and I made it a bit harder. So for example, I just started to say hi to one person when we were alone, and then another person came in. And so I think that is really helpful to really do it and find a way that you can start with something that is feasible for that person and then work on that. But it's also mindset, like you have to think you can do it. So it's actually possible, you can talk, right? And maybe also a bit of relaxation in that moment because you feel tense and kind of not really in a state that you could socialize easily when you're kind of anxious. But there are different things and specific techniques that you can use specifically for selective mutism and children or anyone.
Again, thank you so much. I think listening to you there, Dr. Bothin, you're right. It's never easy, and there are lots of different techniques and strategies that can be used. So having an insight into somebody who's selective mute and what might be going through their mind is, I guess, gives us some understanding. What about professionals who work with, pardon me, who work with people who are selective mute, so whether the teachers, doctors, dentists, etc., what can we as professionals do to make, first of all, that young person feel comfortable, and then perhaps lead to some kind of conversation? What would your advice be to professionals?
The most important thing is that you establish a kind environment around this person with everyone involved. So you want to make this person feel safe, even without talking at first. So don't ask, why are you so quiet, or things like that. Just let them be, and maybe give them a task that doesn't require speaking at first. Maybe give them a buddy or a friend they speak with, or things like that. So just create this environment that the person can be how they are, and then allow them to open up slowly.
That is amazing. So I guess in a school environment, we could facilitate some of those strategies that you mentioned there. And without shadow of doubt, my fellow colleagues and Senkos would already be doing some of those amazing things already. When it's a 10-minute appointment with a doctor, for example, and the young person has gone in with the parent, and could the parent act as a buddy? Or I know sometimes doctors are insistent, if the child is, I don't know, is 13, 14, 15 years of age, perhaps they speak for themselves. Would that doctor be advised to perhaps allow the parent to speak on behalf of the young person for the first few appointments, until they have built some kind of a rapport before they expect the young person to speak for themselves? Would that be fair, do you think?
Yeah, it's usually an issue that parents tend to speak for the child in these situations when the child doesn't speak. So, and that doesn't really help the child to come out of the silence as such. So when they always take over. But in this case you mentioned, I would say just speak with the doctor and explain the situation to them, and see what they can do. And then, of course, the parent can speak, but there are also other ways, like, for example, in an eye test, the child could nod their head when they see something, or so you can find ways to communicate that will help.
Yeah, that definitely helps. What about in social situations then? So, if you wouldn't mind telling us about your social experiences, were you part of any clubs growing up, either at school or in the community, any social clubs? I don't know, like sport, music, leisure, anything at all?
Yeah, there were activities.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to join, but I didn't really say much, I think,
Mm-hmm.
especially in groups, as I said. Yeah.
And for young people growing up now, excuse me, I guess if I think about the different subjects, so there's some school lessons where we can um, accommodate without having to do much talking. There are others where speaking is part of the requirement. So in modern languages, for example, we do the listening, reading, writing, and then there's speaking as well. It carries part of the actual mark itself. English languages have a speaking element to it. Drama does require a lot of talking. Um, what would your advice be? Well, there's one young person, I think I mentioned to you before we started this pre-record, that I taught a few years ago. She was bilingual, absolutely amazing. Her mum reassured me that she could say everything in English and in mother tongue quite comfortably, but at school she was selective mute. And so she would have excelled in two languages quite comfortably. We knew that. But getting that person through that assessment to prove that she's perfectly competent, what could we do? Would it be have been advisable to perhaps get her to demonstrate her speaking skill to the teacher only, or to a trusted friend, or maybe give her a smaller group to form her play in if she was doing drama? What would you advise in that kind of situation?
Yeah, for activities you mentioned, maybe find something that interests the person where they want to go, and then they can join a group or come with a parent or friend at first, and they don't need to speak at first. And for assessments at school, there are reasonable adjustments. So as you said, they can give a talk only for the teacher if they manage that, or in a smaller group, or maybe even record something at home and then send it to the teacher. So there are different ways, or also doing an assignment in writing instead of like giving a talk, just writing an essay, for example, things like that.
Excellent. And if you don't mind me asking, how old were you when you felt, what, I have actually really overcome this hurdle? I now feel comfortable. I can go to the radio and speak, as you are doing a remarkable job today, and you're coaching other people. At what sort of age did you feel as though you'd accomplished this yourself?
I would say as an adult. So I found out about this when I was about to finish my A-levels. So I had a term for this, and then I studied and went to university. I met new people, and it kind of developed that more talking was required with new people. And so I think things got better from then on, also with work. And, then nowadays being online in meetings, so there are always new challenges there where you have to talk, where people tell me that could be things. So for example, when I go to networking, people tell me they struggle with kind of making connections. So I think it's not easy for a lot of people. And you don't need to have selective mutism and such.
No.
Which is just a label, but it's possible to overcome it and to kind of become a more confident person. And I've also seen that in other people that I know that have done similar things, like now doing work in public to make that better known and create more awareness, because I think it's not very well known in the general public.
No. And you're absolutely right. Listeners, if you've just tuned in, you're listening to Selling the Community Show with me, Hafiz Muhammad Umar. And this first part of today's show on Wednesday, the 5th of November 2025, is a pre-record. I'm speaking to Dr. Anje Bothin, who is from Assertive Voices, all the way from Scotland, Glasgow, Lanarkshire. And she's very kindly sharing her story with us, together with amazing work she has done as a writer of 2 books, one entitled Anika and the Treasure of, I can't see it very
Iceland.
well. Iceland, right, okay, beg your pardon. And the second one is called A Poem About Selective Mutism. It's called Quiet. And Dr. Bothin is somebody who has a lived experience of selective mutism. And Dr. Bothin, and the way you came across in that networking meeting we had last week, and again at the beginning of the show today, had you not told me that you were selecting me at some point, I would not have known at all. I think you're doing remarkable work, and you're such a role model for so many people out there. Listeners, if you or somebody within your family, your friendship group, or within the community who selected mute, and you think, oh, they're okay when they're talking to me, but they don't talk much when we are talking in a group. Well, this is why. And that's exactly, I'm talking to Dr. Bothin today. And those 2 books that she has written are incredibly powerful. Let's go a bit into those books, then, please. So if we start with the poem book, a poem about selective mutism. What is that? Is there just one poem? Is there a series of poems? What's in there?
That is just one poem. It was originally intended for Selective Mutism Awareness Month a couple of years ago, and I wrote one stanza for each day of October. So it's 31 stanzas in there, and it kind of explains what selective mutism is and what you can do, and it's also inspiring and positive. So have a look at it. But I have also written other poems about this.
Brilliant. And what's the target audience of that book?
I would say anyone interested in learning more about this.
What sort of age group?
I would say adults, anyone who helps someone.
Brilliant. And your other book, what's that about then, please?
That is a story about a treasure hunt in Iceland. It's intended for young adults, and it features a character, a young girl of that age, and she struggles with talking, and she goes on a treasure hunt around Iceland, and obviously that's an island, and there's a road, like a ring that goes around the island, and there are different sites, and these places become the places where certain people look for the treasure. So you will learn about the sides of Iceland as well if you want to travel. But it kind of shows what challenges she faces around this situation, and that she does that at all and with her life, and how she overcomes her anxiety.
Wonderful. And why Iceland? Why did you choose Iceland?
I was on holiday in Iceland and I liked it there. And the countryside, you've got a lot of waterfalls and volcanic things that you can visit. And on the cover, you see the Northern Lights.
Yes.
Something you can see in the night if you're lucky. So that's all interesting things in nature. And so I set this story in that setting.
Wonderful. And how long did it take you to write this book?
I would say a couple of months, maybe.
Oh, wow. And roughly speaking, how many pages is this book?
I think about 200 or so. It's not too much.
And it's available to purchase online, or?
Yeah, it's on Amazon and the other one too.
So tell us the names of the books again, please, and where people could find them.
Yeah, one is called Quiet, a poem about selective mutism, and the other Annika and the Treasure of Iceland, and both are available on Amazon for you to purchase.
Brilliant. And would teenagers of school age benefit from reading these books, do you think?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, brilliant. So if you're listening out there and you're at school, speak to your school librarian or your school Senko and ask, why have you not got these books in your school libraries in? I think that's the least we can do, make sure. If Dr. Bothin has put all this hard work in, we need to make sure it gets to the targeted audience. And, I'm not even joking here. I mean this. I think every library should have at least one copy of these books. Dr. Anje Bothin, the amount of work you're doing is incredibly amazing. So you said something about coaching people as well.
Yeah.
How does that work then?
Yeah, I coach people, people who struggle with speaking confidently, with assertiveness. And I also run workshops for community groups, organizations, workplaces. So, yeah.
Is that only in Scotland, or do you cover England as well?
In Scotland, it could be in person, but I can do online, or if anyone is interested, just contact me and we can arrange something.
Okay, brilliant. Dr. Anje Bothin, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And listener, if you are just tuning in, you have been listening to the Send in the Community show with me, Hafiz Muhammad Umar. And for the first half of tonight's show, we did a pre-record with Dr. Anje Bothin from Assertive Voices. And we are heading to a short break now. And after the break, when we come back, we'll be joined live by Jacqueline Stephens from Inclusive Cards, who produces handmade gift cards with an inclusive approach. So that is something very exciting. And if you want to be hearing more about that, she will be demonstrating how she produces these cards. So please do tune back in straight after this short break. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abul Hussain.
My name is Sister Mary. I'm the Interfaith Coordinator for the Northampton Catholic Diocese.
My name is Farzad. I am from the Luton Baha'i Faith community.
I'm Mary Huffman and I'm with Near Neighbours, and I'm here today with Inspire FM 105.1, and just want to say that I love it that we can work together in all different kinds of ways.
Landlords, let us take away the hassle of letting your property. Our comprehensive services include tenant vetting, rent collection and service charges, maintenance and repairs. Ideal Properties has 2 branches and have been established over 20 years and have gained a wealth of knowledge and experience.
If you are thinking of selling or letting your property, then speak to a member of our knowledgeable team about a free, no-obligation market appraisal.
We can also offer guaranteed rental income.
Contact us on either Luton 721110 or 696050. Ideal Properties. Service with a smile, whatever your needs.
CYCD is a community facility set in the heart of Berry Park that meets the community's needs. We work with children, young people, and those with learning needs and disabilities. We also work with women offering discreet provision, deliver ESOL classes to adults, and are the lead for the consortium of South Asian wellbeing groups for over 50s. There really is something here for everyone. Come and visit us in person at Berry Park, or visit our website at cycd.org.uk.
Universal Clutches on Cosgrove Way in Luton offer more than just clutch repairs. We also now cover MOTs, servicing, brakes, suspension and vehicle recoveries. We've got you covered whether you drive a manual or semi-automatic car, van or truck. We aim to provide a quick and reliable service, and Universal Clutches are an AA and RAC approved garage. For a reliable service you can trust, call 01582 876 300 or find Universal Clutches on Google, Instagram and Facebook.
Biscott Pharmacy, your one-stop health and beauty pharmacy in Luton, stockist of over 8,000 health and beauty products. At Biscott Pharmacy, we offer a range of services, including health advice and repeat prescriptions for collection and delivery to your home. We also offer a Hajj and Umrah vaccination. Come in and see us and ask about our Stop Smoking service. We're open 7 days a week till late, including bank holidays. Biscott Pharmacy, 157A Biscott Road, Luton. Call 457709.
Can you imagine a child growing up without the love and protection of their parents? Over 39,000 children in Gaza have lost one or both parents in the most brutal circumstances, and many of them have permanent injuries. Agos UK Al Khidmat Foundation has launched its Gaza Orphan Care Programme. Sponsor an orphan in Gaza for £42 per month or at agosuk.org.
And now, get ready for your new weekly dose of sports talk.
It's Sportscast, the show where we dive into the latest sporting events, the hottest debates, and the legacies that make sports unforgettable.
Join us every Monday at 7 p.m. as we break down the action, share our takes, and go head-to-head on the big sporting questions.
Sportscast, your new home for sports talk. Don't miss it.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 7:30.
Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Stand in the Community with me, Hafiz Muhammad Umar. And now I have some amazing guests with me. First of all, we have Raz with us. Raz, hello. Islam, how are you, Raz?
Alhamdulillah.
Brilliant. And we also have Jacqueline Stephens with us. Jacqueline, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming to join us. Raz, do you want to start off with the top part, please?
The second part of the show is live today. We would like to remind our listeners that it is the mental health
Awareness,
also
epilepsy
awareness month.
Thank you very much, Raz. Yes, so we'd like to remind our listeners that it is the Mental Health Awareness Month. Some of you might remember on 3rd of August, we had a massive event at Luton Town Indians Cricket Club to raise funds for CALM. CALM stands for Campaigning Against Living Miserably. Essentially, it is a men's anti-suicide charity, and collectively, we as a community raised over £34,000 to support the excellent work CALM are doing. And this Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to remind our listeners that there is support out there. Please do not feel alone, do not feel lonely. There is help support available in Luton, surrounding areas throughout the country, and please reach out to family, friends, professionals if you need any help or support. Samaritans are always there. If you're working in education, the Education Support Partnership have dedicated trained counsellors to support people working in education 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So do not feel let back. And also, it is the Epilepsy Awareness Month as well. There's lots going on. So Raz, over to you.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Please, Jacqueline.
Thank you for the question. So I have a disability called cerebral palsy, and I'll be honest with you, I found it kind of difficult sort of growing up, and it took me a long time, I would say, to how can I say, it just took me a long time to accept it. So I was an adult when I kind of accepted, cerebral palsy as what does that sort of mean for me? And the situation was really is that the diagnosis was when I was young, but unfortunately my family and I didn't have a name or anything. Like, we weren't told a name, should I say. So it was only when I was around about sort of 32, I kind of was told, oh, do you know what you have? And I was like, no. And she said, well, you have this, you have cerebral palsy. And she handed me a brochure, she handed me a leaflet, and then I walked out the doctor's surgery, and it's been a journey ever since, really, in terms of what that means for me.
Wow. So you went through school, college, etc., without any support?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I fell through the net, basically. And one of the things that kind of sticks with me is the doctor said, did we do you a disservice? Would you be the person that you are now if we'd have told you when you were young? In other words, would you have your determination? Would you have your grit? Do you know what I mean? Would you have your strength if you were told when you were younger? But I don't know. For me, I think I was born with that determination, because when you have anybody born with a disability, you're a fighter. From the day you're born, you are a fighter because you fight to survive. So you just don't know. You just don't know. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of made me who I am, really, and the story.
Absolutely. And I guess the other way of looking at it is the whole idea of getting an early diagnosis is that we make that learning journey as level a playing field as possible. So the added obstacles you would have gone through, perhaps those barriers could have been removed or
Yes,
reduced in order to ensure
absolutely.
your determination
Yeah,
was able to go the full
yeah.
way, as opposed to you.
Struggling, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And looking back, there were times when I was struggling in class or certain situations, and I'm sort of looking back at my life as a young person during the school my school years, and sometimes I sit back and I think, do you know what? If I did have the support, I think I would have managed it much better. But I'm here now, and it's a story that I can tell, and I think it wouldn't have. I mean, I wouldn't be telling this story now if it had gone the other way. So in hindsight, I always say, do you know what? There's good that came out of it, because now I have a story. It was meant to be that way.
Absolutely. And you were brought up in Luton, Jacqueline?
I was, yeah. I'm a Lutonian. Yes, born and bred.
Excellent. And the reason I ask is because we are quite privileged to have the diversity in Luton,
Yes.
as we have, and we love Luton for what it is.
Yes.
And with the diversity, from a professional cycle perspective,
Yes.
we also come across certain trends that are perhaps, I guess, found more in diverse communities like Luton, where not everybody is fully aware of access or support available to them.
Mhm.
And in some cases, when that is available, people aren't really able to access those services. That's one of the reasons why we started Sending the Community, to try and raise profile of different conditions, to educate our community, to give them the strength that they need to be able to feel comfortable in accessing services. How do you feel about our community in Luton when it comes to disability?
What you're doing at the moment is absolutely fantastic. I think I said to you before we came on, I used to work in Denby High, and I did that for 7 years. Working with special needs.
Amazing.
And what you find, or what I found working with the children, it was quite difficult for them, because parents weren't aware really of the help that they could get. I mean, I'm talking a few years ago now. I'm talking 20 odd years ago. So things have actually changed. But you find in any ethnic community that understanding disability is a very difficult thing, because when you're from a certain community, disability is something that wasn't talked about, and you were, it's not swept under the carpet, but you just wasn't aware of it really, and you didn't quite know how to sort of manage it. So what you're doing now to inform people, the community, as I say, is amazing.
Thank you so much. And alongside that, what you're doing is incredibly and equally wonderful too, Jacqueline. So listeners, if you haven't come across Jacqueline's work before, we are going to be telling you a bit about it now. Jacqueline produces these amazing inclusive cards, which Raz is going to ask a bit about. Raz?
Why did you decide to make exclusive cards?
I'll be honest with you, it was for selfish reasons right at the beginning, because I was literally looking for my looking for a card for my sister, and I specifically wanted it to look a certain way, and I couldn't find one. And as I was sort of walking around the different stores, it was literally like a light bulb moment where I was like, hold on a minute. If I can't find one for her, I'm somebody that has a disability and a part-time walking aid user. I can't find anything either. And as I was sort of walking around, I'm thinking, but there's absolutely nothing at all to represent disability. And that was sort of, the idea was sort of back in 2019. It was literally, honestly, it was like a light bulb moment. So it just went bing. And then I was like, do you know what? This is what I'm meant to do. This is how I'm going to help my community of disabled children and adults. This is what I'm going to do.
So you've brought some sample of the cards with you, haven't you?
Yes.
Could you talk us through some of those, please? And you've got quite a few there.
Yes, I certainly can. Just bear with me one moment.
These are designs that Jacqueline has come up with, and they are quite diverse in many ways, and looking at a whole host of different types of disabilities. So, if you want to start telling us a bit about those cards.
Yeah. So the one that's on the top of the pile is a black young boy using a wheelchair, and he has a green sweatshirt on, long sleeves with some bright red shoes, because I like colour. And if you're visually impaired as well, colour is really, really important, using certain colours. So that was really what I wanted to go for. So yeah, that was at the top of the pile. And then I've got a black young girl in a bright red wheelchair, using a bright red wheelchair, and she's got lovely yellow shoes with shiny pink bows on.
Sorry, Jacqueline, would you mind either holding the card up?
Oh, you want to?
Or if you just want to slide it across, I can just.
You slide it across.
Yes, and I'll just hold it here. So,
yep.
So those that are currently tuned in on our social media channel, if they want to be able to see these cards.
Yes, they certainly can.
Hold them up. This is the first one that Jacqueline was talking about. And this is the second card.
Yeah,
the young girl on a wheelchair.
Yeah,
both of the first two on wheelchairs.
Absolutely. I also, because I wanted to make sure it's really, really diverse in terms of ethnic groups.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really important to me. So I've also got a adult female using a wheelchair, and she has on her hijab as well. So if you want to
so these three cards are all designed with wheelchair users in mind.
Yeah.
A young girl, a young boy, and then a lady wearing a hijab. They all look absolutely amazing, these cards.
I mean, the thing is, I'm really passionate about representation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for me, the card industry at the moment is in that space is just not good enough, because there's no representation of us as a community of disabled people. And it's now, when I last checked, it's 1.5 billion industry. Okay, and there's 10 million people living with disability in the UK at this time. So there's a disparity there. You know, you've got 10 million, but it's a 1.5 billion, and then there's no representation. So that's where I come in. So that's where J. Marie Collective Limited comes in. And, you know, I think I can sort of break the market. This, you know, there's not a website like this, because I've done my research as well, and there's nothing on the market at all. So I'm hoping to sort of break into that market.
Yeah, and best of luck with that. I think there's two elements to it. There's that business element, and then there's that genuine sincerity and compassion, and understanding
Absolutely.
of a person with lived experience.
Absolutely.
To know the challenges out there.
Yes.
And then when you take those figures, you know, difficult enough having a disability, and then if you're also under an additional marginalized category, then that makes it the more difficult to be able to get something that is a true reflection or representation
Absolutely.
on yourself. So yeah, I mean, these 3 cards look absolutely amazing here, and I think you've got a few more.
Yes, I have.
There as
I
well.
have. Yes, there's that's representing autism. There's a girl there with a red headset on, and she's holding a teddy bear. And the symbol on the side of her headphones just represent that she's autistic, and it was really to highlight it, you know, for when people sort of walk by, that they know what I was trying to represent, because it's quite difficult to represent the autistic spectrum when you're trying to do a card, and I didn't want to make it so obvious. Also, another card here. This young lady is a LP, and LP stands for little person. Looking the bomb, as I would say, you know, with a bag on a she's wearing her bag, and she's ready to step out on the town, basically. That's her.
Yeah, and from, I guess, a diagnostic perspective,
Yeah.
dwarfism is what we're
yes.
talking about here.
Yeah.
And there is a lot available for people with dwarfism, and please do not ever feel isolated. I know a young person from Milton Keynes, when I was a Senko there, he was lined up for the British Badminton Dwarfism Championships.
Yes.
So there are those kind of doors that are now being opened. So there are those opportunities out there.
Absolutely. And you know, I can't forget myself, because I've actually put myself in the card as well, because you know, I do, you know, I'm not boasting, but I just thought, well, you know, I've got to represent as well, you know, somebody of a certain age and who you know, carries a a walking aid part-time. I had to put myself in there. I know somebody would think that's kind of being big-headed, but I thought but I thought I would represent. Yeah.
Why not? And I think you've done a remarkable job on getting the determination represented in yourself as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. No one's going to stop me. That's the face, you see.
Huge smile.
Yes.
You know, walking stick or not walking stick, absolutely amazing courage and determination there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I'd like to say is that with all my cards, whenever I do a new card, everybody is smiling. There's no sad faces. Everybody is smiling.
Wonderful.
Because it's all about being happy within the skin you're in, and that is what I'm trying to portray.
Yeah, I think Raz has a question there for you.
Yes,
Raz.
How do you decide which
category
to make a card on?
Do you know, I get inspiration from anywhere. I could be watching TV, or I've seen a news article. Honestly, my mind is going so fast all the time in terms of ideas. I could get them from absolutely anywhere, or I could be talking to you, and you're talking about a specific disability that I haven't done before, and that could inspire me. So it's really, I want to do as many disabilities as I can. I want to do as many ethnic groups as I can, but I had to start with that 12. I've got so many ideas going on at the moment, but I have to, you know, when you're starting off, you have to limit yourself, because you could literally, you could do so many.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think about halfway through this current collection of cards.
Yeah.
What else have you got there?
So I've got a young lady, and she has a missing limb, and that is her left arm. That is her arm there, and she's ready to go out in the town as well. And then I have a young boy who is got his Superman t-shirt on, and yeah, he's just taking a rest on a chair, and he's got his leg braces on. So that's another one. And then I have a LP male, adult male. Again, I wanted to make sure that I try and represent male and female in the different disabilities.
Oh, wonderful. Is that all design?
Yeah, that's all the designs that I brought with me today.
Fantastic. Raz, next question, please.
Where can you buy your cards?
So I've literally just launched the website. I launched the website on the 29th of September, and you can find me on the website on www.Marie Collective Limited, and there is no space, and then it's .com. So Marie Collective Limited.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Raz, next question, please.
What do you like to do? Support people with disabilities.
That is definitely something I want to do, especially when the Paralympics come around, and there's certain events where a lot of disabilities are shown in sport. So that is one of the things I will do, but I have to sort of park that at the moment because I want to sort of make sure that people are aware of the website and also what I do. So it's just really about getting that awareness out to everybody.
Thank you. Raz, next question, please.
Have you produced any cards on sports, especially disability cricket?
I haven't as of yet, but as I say, it's definitely something on my mind. And what I think I will do when the time is right is literally visit places where they do disability sports. Disability cricket is something that I've not heard of, so that's again, I'll park that, and I'll keep that for later on.
Excellent. Well, Jacqueline, that's another area, Raz, I can help you on, because on a Tuesday evening we are currently running disability cricket sessions at Choney High School for boys.
Right.
What time does that on, Raz?
7 to 8.
On a Tuesday evening, the times are changing now, remember? 6 till 7?
Yeah, 6 to 7.
Yeah.
6 till 7,
It
right.
used to be 7 till 8 on a Monday last winter, and this year we changed the times. So if you go to Choney High School for boys, towards the sports hall, is to the back of the school. And upstairs. Downstairs, there's a biggest program running at that time. Upstairs is disability cricket. It's run by Cricket East in collaboration with Luton Town Indians Cricket Club. Raz is our disability cricket team captain at Luton Town Indians. So I'm sure he'll be able to tell you a bit more about that if you were able to pop down.
Brilliant.
And then we have another brother called Baikamar. He is the disability cricket coordinator. So he goes into all special schools throughout Bedfordshire and Huntingdonshire to ensure disability cricket is made accessible. So yeah, that's definitely something that
brilliant,
we can support you with.
Yeah, fantastic. And I will definitely speak to you about that at some point in the future for sure. Thank you.
Raz, your next question.
How do you spend your time?
Your spare time?
Oh, do you know what? Spare time? I'll tell you what I love to do in my spare time. I do like reading, and now my sisters will laugh. Whether they're listening or not, they'll laugh, but I do love a bit of TV. I do watch, a lot of TV. I'm into these podcasts now, and now they're sort of live. You can watch the podcast rather than just listen. And I do like a podcast. So that's my phase at the moment, and that's what I like to do. But setting up your own business, I'll be honest, I love it. I love working for myself, managing my own time, especially with a disability. If I'm not feeling well, I can, park myself for a moment. But also, it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be as well. Yeah. So there's a balance. So I'm only 4 weeks in. Well, I'm only 6 weeks in. So I literally started working for myself on the 29th of September.
Wow.
So I'm still learning and finding my feet. So that will take most of my time, and working my way around the social media aspects of it. I've got to sort of get used to it because I'm not used to it yet.
And you are based in Luton, aren't you?
I'm no, because I'm not based in Luton now.
Okay.
I I live in Milton Keynes. I moved to Milton Keynes probably 7 months ago. Just really for new start and the opportunities in terms of business, because they've got a business networks and all different kinds of things that is really going to sort of help me as well. So I'm now based in Milton Keynes.
Fantastic. Jacqueline, it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us. Our last question was about your views on selling the community, but whereas Jacqueline has already covered that earlier, so we don't need to ask that again. Jacqueline, once again, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck with your ventures, and your cards are absolutely amazing. And finally, if listeners want to buy them, just remind them again, please, where they can buy the inclusive cards from.
Yes, please visit the website. It's www.jmariecollectivelimited.com.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And Raz, thank you once again as well for joining us today. Listeners, stay well and join us next week. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.